I want you to remember one thing. If you don't remember anything else in life, green means go and red means stop. And in this situation, red means turn around and go the other way, run for your life, because a red flag is a red flag. Hola, hola, hola todos, es tu prima favorita, Bobby here, and welcome back to the Cousins Corner. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. I'm tu prima favorita, Bobby, and I just like to talk. And today I'm going to be talking about red flags and green flags and recognizing those within a relationship. If you're thinking about building a relationship, if you're in the early stages of building a relationship, if you are already in a relationship, these are some things that you need to look out for. Disclaimer, your girl is not claiming to be a relationship coach. I am not claiming to tell you how to get the guy and that I'm gonna change your life or nothing like that. I am just here to share with you as tu prima, as somebody who cares about you, that there are things that you need to look out for and why it is important to notice those green flags and those red flags, those toxic behaviors within a relationship, especially if you're in early on stages where you're deciding that you want to start sharing something with this partner, where you're deciding you want to build something more, or if you want to build something more, or if you're already deep in the throes of it. Noticing red flags and green flags in a relationship, especially early on, can really protect you. It can help you to avoid the turmoil and the torture of a really bad relationship and help you be able to build a more meaningful connection and enjoy all of the green, all of the joy that a healthy relationship has to bring. So I'm just giving this for knowledge, so let's get started. Number one is controlling behavior. Now, controlling behavior is not to be confused with somebody caring about you, right? If you're not used to having somebody be concerned with you or concerned with your whereabouts, sometimes this can be confusing. Relationships in themselves are confusing. So it's important to be able to decipher, is this healthy, is this not healthy? When I say controlling behavior, I'm talking about somebody who is trying to isolate you, someone who is trying to take you away from your friends or your family, keep you just with them, or they're trying to clock your every move. It's like, call me when you get there, call me when you get here, let me see your surroundings, let me see where you are, what time you gonna be back. You said you was gonna be back at this time, but you got back at this time. Where were you? How long does it take for you to do that? How long does it take for you to get there? You see where I'm going with this, and you see how that starts to make your heart race, and that is not something that you should see as a woo, this is great, because it's not great. Somebody who is trying to dictate your every move, who is trying to tell you what you can do, what you cannot do, where you can go, who you can and cannot be with, is not something that you should take lightly. And if you are a little bit confused of whether this is coming from a place of care from this person or whether this is coming from a place of control, you should have an honest conversation with that person to really see. A person who is trying to control you is either going to get super defensive and be like, oh, you tripping? Why you think I'm trying to control you? Da, 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 da. Or they're going to confirm the fact that they're trying to control you, and they're going to drop little hints and tell you exactly what it is that you're asking if they are indeed trying to control you. Because then they're just like, no, I just worry about you and I just need to know where you are every single second of the day, because I gotta clock you, I gotta keep my eyes on you, I gotta protect you. And I know I'm talking like I'm saying this from a man, but this also goes true for the other side as well. There are a lot of women out here who also demonstrate controlling behaviors. So if you date women, or if you're a guy who date women, or a woman who dates women, or whatever, be on the lookout, because controlling behavior is not just with men, it's also with women as well. And I say this as a person who, I don't want to say that I was controlling per se in the relationship that comes to mind, but I was very much so a person who was like, where's he at? What is he doing? Who is he with? Oh, where's this friend? Who is this friend? I never heard of that friend before. And so for me, many moons ago, when I was stuck in that, I wouldn't necessarily like control that person, but I would probe in a roundabout way to ask more questions so things could make sense in my mind. Granted, that wasn't a healthy relationship for me or that person in the first place. You know, RIP to my toxica ways. If you haven't checked out that video, No More Toxicas, go watch that video. But I would try to do roundabout ways to just probe and ask more questions so I could piece together the puzzle for myself. and that was unhealthy as well. So if you're realizing that you're a person who also does that, then maybe evaluate that entire relationship. Why are you doing that? Is it because you don't trust your partner? Is it because you are, in a sense, trying to control them in a roundabout way? You know, red flags don't just mean for the other person. We got to be able to examine ourselves. You got to be able to look at yourself. Mira a tu misma and know, like, am I exhibiting this as well? But anyway, let's keep it going. Another red flag is lack of communication. And this can look different on different levels, right? This doesn't necessarily mean that this person is not texting you all the time or calling you all the time. A lack of communication can also mean someone who is always deflecting, right? Or someone who is not willing to go deeper. They're not willing to have deeper conversations. They're not willing to address certain emotions or certain questions that you ask them. They're skirting around different things. They're trying to turn stuff back around on you. They're trying to keep from answering questions. They're trying not to let you in or trying to get too close to you. Those are also forms of lack of communication. And then of course you have those people that go days on days without, you know, communicating with you, or people who ghost you and then come back, or people who just ignore you but then they want to talk to you when they want to talk to you. So lack of communication can look several different ways, and none of them are good ways. None of them are to be taken as green flags. None of them are to be taken as, woo, we still good. They are not healthy. None of those are healthy signs of communication. If someone is avoiding opening up to you emotionally, or they are avoiding deep or meaningful conversations, that is a lack of someone. I don't want to necessarily say wanting to get to know you, because maybe they could want to get to know you, but this person has not built the emotional availability to know how. So that is a red flag, because you do need to be emotionally available to be in a relationship with somebody, or to be building towards a relationship to somebody. So if someone is not wanting to go deep, oh, that's too much, we don't need to talk about that, then I guess we're just gonna stay on the outskirts of it then, because we can't be getting, you know, intimate and super close and all of that, but you don't actually want to share yourself with me or learn more about me. So that is definitely a red flag when it comes to a relationship. And again, if you are on the other side of this, if you are the person that is exhibiting those behaviors, you really need to take a step back and think about how that is affecting your partner and your relationship. And maybe you need to reevaluate if you are even ready to be in a relationship, because some of y'all, I will say, are just out here just hopping willy-nilly into stuff, and you're not really thinking about the fact that it takes more than just attraction. It takes more than just chemistry. It takes more than just shared likes or interest to be in a relationship with a person. You have to be willing to learn and grow and open up and be vulnerable. And if you are lacking in the communication department, whether you're not ready to open up to them or not willing to open up to them, or you're skirting questions, or they're doing it the opposite, that is a red flag, and that is not conducive to a healthy relationship. Red flag numero tres is inconsistent behavior. This could be, however you want to put it, hot and cold, wishy-washy, push and pull. Someone who is distant one moment and then affectionate the next moment. That is a red flag. This causes so much emotional turmoil and so much emotional confusion to the opposite person that is on the receiving end of this. And if you are a person who has an anxious attachment, or even an anxious avoidant attachment, then when you get around a person who's doing the hot and cold, the push and pull, it will drive you insane. And trust me, that is coming from a person who knows what that feels like, who knows all about that. First, it's gonna send you into running rampant, because you're like, what the heck is going on? What do I need to do? This person is pulling away, so I need to fight harder. I need to chase, and the chase is on. And then they keep running. And then the moment that you let up, you slow down, you catch your breath, you stop, they come running back, and you're like, oh my God. But as soon as you do that, they start running again. The hot and cold, the push and pull, the wishy-washy is a super red flag, if ain't nothing else a red flag. And that is definitely not conducive to a relationship. A relationship, a successful relationship, takes two people who have made the decision that, yes, I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to show up for you, and you have made the decision that you're going to be here and show up for me. There is no hot and cold. There is no wishy-washy. If somebody catching mood swings, we take a little minute, we calm ourselves down, calmate, te calmo. But then we come back together and we talk about it and we work through it together. Hot and cold does not work in a successful relationship, in a loving romantic relationship. If somebody is giving you the hot and cold treatment, then you just need to grab your stuff and just go. Just go, because that person is not emotionally mature enough to be able to either tell you like, hey, I don't want to be here, this is not what I want, I'm not really feeling you like that, or they're not emotionally mature to really understand what it takes to be in a relationship. And that's not to say that there aren't going to be times where you want your space from a person or the person that you're dating or in a relationship with. That's not going to say that you're never going to get mad or that sometimes you won't feel like being affectionate, but it is those very, very, very polar opposites of the dynamic of where it's like, all right, I'm not gonna talk to you at all, I'm not gonna be there for you, I'm not gonna respond to you, whatever, but when I see you, I'm all up in your face, I'm all up in your mouth. Like that right there is like, okay, do you like me or do you not like me? Because when you hear, we hear, and when you're not, there's nothing. Or some people will even do it while they're there with you. Like many moons ago, I was involved in a situation, and when I tell you, like, this man was, I called it wishy-washy. I remember writing about it in my journal. He was so wishy-washy, and it could be like at the drop of a dime. Like 1 minute we cooling it, we chilling, we hanging out, everything's great, the world's great, life is great, and then the next moment, like he goes somewhere and it's just like he's cold and like F the world and F everything and F everybody and blah blah blah. Like that situation was just, it was a very toxic situation. There was a lot of red flags on both ends, and I was like, well, let me try, I can make this work, That attachment style was kicking into gear, and the chase was on, honey. The chase was on. Oh, to be a young 20-something-year-old that didn't know anything about love, relationships, communication styles, and attachment styles. Oh my gosh, ignorance is so bliss. And I was swinging from red flags, red trees, red swings all over the place. It was full-blown circus, a full-blown carnival, and I was having a time suffering. Don't do it. Don't do it. Another red flag is somebody who disrespects your boundaries. Now, this could be somebody who disrespects your physical boundaries. This could be someone who disrespects your emotional boundaries, or someone who disrespects your time boundaries. Either way, it is disrespect. And disrespect is not something that is conducive to a successful relationship. You cannot have that when someone is disrespecting you. So if you are not wanting to be intimate with somebody and then they try to make you feel bad about it, or they try to down talk you or guilt trip you into it or force you into it, and that's anything. That could be like physical intimacy. That could be if you're like, no, I have a set schedule, this is what I do, this is when I do it, I need this time, and then they're trying to, well, if you really loved me, you would do this, and if you really loved me, you would show up and do this, and da-da-da-da. And I'm not saying that there aren't going to be times where you're doing things that you don't want to do, right? Where it's like, oh, you know, he has this event going on today and I said I was going to be there, so I got to make sure that, you know, I got time to be there. She said that she has this thing that's going on today. I did tell her that I was going to try to make it, and so now I'm having to choose between going off to grab drinks with the guys or go to her drink. Like, there are going to be times where those things happen, but I'm talking about when someone is trying to come in and disrupt your schedule. Let's take me, for example. I wake up at 5 a.m. pretty much every morning, between 5 a.m. and 5:15, because I go to the gym at 6 a.m. That is a stern thing that I have been doing since college days, right? And that is something that I stick to. There have been times where I compromise that because I'm out later, you know, the night before, or, you know, If I'm seeing somebody and it's like, oh, this is the only time we can kind of fit in, okay, cool, I can go to the gym later or after work or whatever the case may be. But if you know that for me, this is like a set thing, and I'm like, all right, cool, this is cool, we can go out, we can kick it, we can hang, but I do have to leave early because I gotta be up at 5:15 a.m. so I can hit the gym at 6. And all of a sudden this man starts flipping out and telling me, well, if you really like me, you know, you can always go to the gym. Why you want to stay up late with me? You know, whatever. Like, I don't gotta go to work until this time. You should be trying to spend time with me. Babe, first of all, when you brought it upon yourself to talk to me like that, I'm gonna laugh in your face and you're gonna be more upset. But that's besides the point. That's just an example, right? So if you have like a set schedule or a set boundary, or let's say you're a person who's like, no, I don't want to be intimate until I'm in a relationship, or if you are in a relationship, until I feel ready, and you find that person trying to tell you, you know, trying to basically coerce you into these things or guilt you into these things or force you into those things, that is not a person who respects your boundary. And if someone does not respect your boundaries now, early on in the early stages, they will not grow to respect them either. So just know that that is a red flag. And if you're seeing that at the beginning, pay attention to it, because they usually are going to do it more than once. So when they start doing that, when you start noticing this pattern, when you start noticing that this is how they are or how they operate when they don't get their way, they start pouting, or they start shouting, or they get real aggressive, or they start pointing the finger and making you feel guilty. That is not somewhere you need to be. And even if it's an old relationship, that is not somewhere you need to be. Somebody who does not respect your boundaries does not respect you. So déjalo. Leave them. Leave that relationship. Leave it. Let it go. All right, last red flag before we get into the green flags is gaslighting. Ooh. And I know gaslighting is a word that a lot of people have been throwing around lately. And are you gaslighting me? And you're trying to and some people use it very, very much wrong. But I will tell you, it is very, very, very much a thing. If you're not familiar with the term gaslighting, then it's basically when someone is trying to make you question your reality, right? It's like, I just saw you with that girl sitting on your lap. And he's like, what girl? There was no girl sitting on my lap. What are you talking about? Like, you seeing things or whatever. And they basically try to dismiss it. They basically try to make you feel crazy because you saw what you saw, or have you questioning if you saw what you saw, if you heard what you heard, or even if you feel what it is you really feel, right? When someone's like, you're just being irrational. Like, are you on your period? Oh, that's a big form of gaslighting right there. Have you taken your meds today? I think you need some more coffee. You're just being moody. You know, all these types of things, these are forms of gaslighting. And if somebody is willing to gaslight you, especially when your feelings are involved, especially when you're asking them something important or something that really means something to you, or talking about something that really hurt you or made you feel this way, and their idea of resolve is to jump into gaslighting you, that is not a person who cares about your feelings, and that is not a person that you need to be with. That is a red flag, and you need to walk away. All right, mis primos, now that we've talked about the banderas rojas, the red flags, we are gonna talk about the green flag, las banderas verdes. So we're going to talk about some green flags in relationships, some things that you should be looking for, or some things that if you are noticing this about a person that you are dating, or a person that you're seeing or thinking about taking it more serious with, or you're already in a relationship and more serious with them, then these are some things that are really good, and some key things that show you that you are in a successful or healthy relationship. Disclaimer, just because somebody demonstrates one or two of these things, but then they do all of the red flags, I'm not telling you to stay with that person. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that here are some green flags that you should be aware of. The first one is open and honest communication. Open and honest communication in a very healthy way, right? With respect to your partner, who they are, how they handle communication and take feedback. So this is somebody who is willing to talk about their issues, talk about some things that might be bothering them, that are willing to talk about their emotions and willing to hear you out on yours too. They're willing to openly communicate with you. They're willing to be honest. They're willing to hear your expectations and also to share their expectations of y'all's relationships or whatever the situation is going on. They take their judgment out of it and they're just open to having that communication. They're open to, let's set boundaries together, or let's talk about our expectations together. Now, you will run across sometimes where it's not the right time, and this will happen for yourself too. Sometimes you're gonna have people that want to have certain conversations and you're like, I don't have the mental capacity to have this right now. I just got off of work. It's been a long day and I know that you're still upset about something that I said on the phone earlier. Baby, give me like two hours. Let me just get settled here at home. Let me get the chores done or whatever it is that I need to do, or prep for work tomorrow or whatever. And then I promise you, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. That's also healthy communication. And that's also open and honest too, right? That's me telling what I need and me also being aware of your need as well. But I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you the conversation that you want. But right now, I need time and I need space, and then we can talk about it, right? That's just one example, but just basically someone who's just willing to be open and honest and really let you in and really allow themselves to step in if you're allowing them to be let in as well. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Numero dos, green flag is respecting boundaries. So this could be physical, this could be emotional, whatever the case may be, but a partner who is willing to respect your boundaries. So again, taking it back to the example that I just gave, that if your partner is saying that they want to talk about something because they feel a way about the conversation y'all had earlier and they want to discuss and make sure that everybody's okay, they're respecting your boundaries. If you say, I got you and I want to have that conversation too, I just cannot have that conversation right now, and they're like, I understand, baby. Let me give you your space. Let me give you your time to unwind, your time to get comfortable, to de-stress, whatever the case you may be, and then we'll come back around it later. That is somebody respecting a boundary. So that is very much so a green flag, someone who is understanding. Now, this is not to say that you are so overly agreeable where that person can keep using that and y'all end up never having the conversation, right? Like, respecting somebody's boundary is just that, right? It's like, I respect your boundary, but also as your partner, like, I expect my boundary or I expect my needs to be met as well. So I'm going to meet you where you are, but I also expect to be met where I am. And I bring that up too because a lot of times you can kind of find yourself in a space where it's like, okay, I've been asking this person about having this conversation for days, and every time it's a bad time. That's a sign that that person might not be respecting your boundaries in return, or they're not being open or being honest about what it is that you're asking them for, right? There's a reason why they're evading the conversation. There's a reason why they're telling you, okay, we'll have the conversation, but right now I need a break. And then it's like, okay, cool. 2 hours go by. Hey, babe, gave you 2 hours to like unwind, whatever. Like, we cooked dinner, we ate dinner, we watched the show. Can we talk about this now? Oh, not now, not now. Now I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. You know, like that. I know we're talking about the green flags, but I just have to throw that in there. Like, that might need to be another conversation of, okay, why are you evading having this conversation? Because I'm trying to respect your boundary of needing space and needing time, but you got to give me something more than it's just not the right time. And now I'm tired. And now the dog has to go for a walk. And now my grandma's calling. And, you know, so be careful with that one. But again, like, a partner who respects your boundaries, who gives you that space, who gives you that time, whether it's emotional or whether it's physical, and they're understanding to that, that is very much so a green flag and somebody that you want to keep in your corner. Numero tres is emotional availability. Somebody who is willing to work through issues and express vulnerability. This is somebody who is ready to have those more difficult conversations, ready to be a bit more vulnerable, to allow you the space to be vulnerable with them and to allow themselves to be vulnerable with you. Someone who is ready to talk about how to resolve certain issues, even if it's not something that's a huge deal to them, but because it's a huge deal to you, they understand. They're like, I understand that to me this might not mean a lot, but to you it means a lot, and I want to hear you out, and I want to come to a resolve with you, or I want to help you solve the issue or solve the problem. I want us to work for the better of our relationship. I am here. I'm open to having this conversation. I'm open to being vulnerable. I'm open to allow you to be vulnerable as well. So somebody who is showing you that green flag of emotional availability is definitely a person that you would want to consider being in a relationship with. The next one, numero cuatro of the green flags, is consistency and reliability. Somebody who shows up for you, somebody who stands on their word, somebody who's like, yeah, I'm gonna be there, and they're there. I'm gonna do this, and they do this. They show up for you consistently. They show you that you are a priority, or you are at least important in their life. They show up for you. They show up for the relationship. They talk to you about things. They give you their time, or they make time for you or for y'all's relationship. This shows trustworthiness, and it shows commitment. We all like a person who can show up consistently, right? We like friends that can show up consistently. We like when we ourselves are reliable and show up consistently. You don't get paid if you don't go to work. And not that you should think about relationships as a job, but think about that. Like if you're consistent at work, you don't have to worry about your job, unless you just suck at your job. But you don't have to worry about getting fired from your job because you're there, right? And vice versa. If you don't show up to your job every day, you will get fired. You will get cut. So even with that, even if you're not in a relationship yet, if you're in the talking stages, if you're thinking about, moving further along with this person, see, how do they show up for you? Do they hold to their word? Are they reliable? When they say, call me if you need something, can you really call that person if you need something? Are they showing up for you on a consistent basis? Are they making time for you? And I understand that some people are super busy. I myself, my friends and people that know me joke about me having 8 jobs, because I have my full-time career job, which does take a lot. I got the gym, because you're not gonna keep me out of the gimnasio. You're not gonna keep me out of the gym. And then I have dance. I do so many different things with dance, from teaching to performing to doing gigs to whatever the case may be. And I just be picking up stuff all the time. So my schedule is liable to just fill up just like that after my day job, of course. But I still make time for what I make time for, which is one of the reasons why I keep a planner. Everybody know that my planner is one of my best friends. Is mi amigo mejor. I always got my planner on me. I keep the thing on me, right? But I'm always writing things down because I am such a busy person. But I know that if it's something I really want to do, I'm going to make time for it. If it's somebody that I really want to see or hang out with, I'm going to make time for it. So with me, it's just like, yeah, let me know what day it is you're thinking of, and I'm going to go straight to my planner and be like, let me find some time for you, boo-boo. I'm kind of rambling here, but anyway, you want someone who is giving you that consistency and that reliability, so that you know that they can show up for you and they can show up for y'all's relationship. The last green flag that I'm going to talk about today is supportive of growth. Being supporting of each other's growth is one of the biggest green flags. I cannot tell you how many times you see relationships with people, and when one person starts elevating, the other person is either scared because they're going to get left behind, or they're not happy for the other person. A successful relationship, green flag relationship, partners who are supportive of each other. That means when you are growing, when you are having achievements and having success, I am celebrating your wins with you. I'm not secretly competing with you. I'm not hating on it. I'm not upset because why me? Like, no, I am here with you. I am there for you. I'm going to celebrate your wins with you. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to support you through your challenges. I'm going to be there for you. That is a major green flag. If you have somebody in your corner, especially if this is somebody that you're thinking about getting into a serious relationship with, and they demonstrate all those other green flags, and then on top of that you got this too, that is definitely a person that you probably want to make your bae, your boo, your booski, your for lifer, or whatever you want to call them. But definitely a person who is supportive of your growth. They're not trying to stunt you. They're not trying to stunt on you. Like, they're happy to celebrate your wins. They can even be happy to go out and tell other people about your wins because they're so proud of you. That is the person who you definitely want to take seriously, because if they gonna celebrate your wins, they're gonna be there for you with your challenges. They're going to be there to wipe your tears when you're going through it, and then to rejoice with you at the finish line. Like, that is definitely a person that you want to have in your corner. Well, those are all of the red and green flags that I'm going to be talking about today, but I do want to stress the importance of noticing these things early on. These red flags and green flags are very important to notice even before you and that person get serious. So when y'all are in those early dating stages, you need to be scouting. You could be having the time of your life with this person. Y'all can have great time, great conversation, great sex, great whatever it is, but you need to be looking out. Does this person look out for me? Are they showing up consistently? Are they reliable? Do they lack communication? Do they gaslight me? You know, you really need to be paying attention to this sign. I was watching this one video, and the guy was talking about, we put so much time and intention in researching when we're buying a car, or even some of us when we're like buying new clothes, or especially when you're buying a new house or you're looking for a new place to live. But not a lot of people are putting that same diligence when they're looking into partners. And that doesn't mean that you gotta go, you know, searching the world for the I don't want to say don't search for the cream of the crop. Like, you want to search for good. But that's not saying that you have to have Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect, because that definitely doesn't exist. But you do need to make sure that you're looking out for your best interest, but also what you can offer and bring to somebody else, right? Am I reliable? Am I consistent? Am I communicative? Do I lack, you know, emotional availability? Am I emotionally immature? Am I ready? So these are things that you need to be looking for in another person, but also looking at within yourself. All in all, trust your inner self, trust your gut, trust your eyes, and don't let nobody gaslight you into saying that you don't see what you see and you don't hear what you hear. And also listen to your friends. If you got good people in your corner, friends or family members who are really looking out for you, like, don't be afraid to ask them as well, what is their opinion on certain people. Now, some of us, we might have some people in our lives who we can't always trust their judgment, so maybe get a second, third, or fourth opinion, and that's totally fine. But again, it's like, if you are noticing certain things that are not sitting well with you, then maybe a conversation needs to be had, or maybe this is not a person that you need to move forward with, right? And then on the other hand, if you are noticing a lot of green flags, if you're noticing a lot of joy, if you're noticing a lot of go Monopoly, go with this person, or you have people that can also vouch for that person and vouch for y'all's relationship, then maybe this is something that you do need to pursue. So it's just important to be diligent, to really think about these things. When you are choosing a partner, you are choosing somebody you could potentially be tied to for life. So again, that takes me back to how much time we put into looking for a car or looking for an apartment or a place to live. It's like, put in that same intention when you're looking at a partner, right? Is this a person that is going to be right for me? Am I a person that's going to be right for them? Do they exhibit the traits that it is that I value? Do I exhibit the traits that they value? Do we need to have a deeper conversation? Do we need to get to know each other more? Because sometimes it's just, we need to get to know each other more. And the more I find out about you, the more I might not like you. Or the more you find out about me and I find out about you, we might fall in love. So it's just really important to be diligent when you are looking for a partner, because there's more than just looking good together and having a great time. There are going to be some hard times that come up. And if you are ignoring the red flags, then when you go into those spaces, when you have those moments, it's gonna be like, well, shoot, I ignored the red flag that this person was emotionally unavailable, and now I'm crying because he don't want to have conversations with me. Or now I'm upset because she doesn't have the capacity or the wherewithal to understand what is going on here. So just pay attention to the flags. Pay attention to las banderas. That's all I have to say for you today. But again, this is tu prima favorita, Bobby here. Thank you for joining me in the Cousins Corner today. And please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Share some flags, some green flags, some red flags, some things that you've noticed, some things that you've exhibited, some things that you're dealing with. Let us know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye.